fucking foolish. Try to get them funds up, killing the mic just like I ran the jewels in. Y'all gonna get done up front, knowing that kid with an attitude, but you can't really blame this motherfucker. It's what he had to do. I'm about that cash flipping, I'm getting it on and off the market. Not about that VIP, not me, not never been a fan of carpets. All about that RIP for all of my Jesus gone departed. All about that finish what I started, I'm about that.
Top down the night, you're not ready. We ride, we're about that. So high, we see the whole city. We own the night. Top down the night, you're not ready. We ride, we're about that. So high, we see the whole city. We own the night.
Nothing about it, wanna man I can bring the drama. But it ain't by chance I'm fucking rapping, you don't really want a problem. Made a little cash in the back end, but still rapping like I'm starving. Yeah, y'all ain't gonna ask who the man is, hope I'm gonna be like, beg your pardon. I'm about that.
Top down the night, you're not ready. We ride, we're about that. So high, we see the whole city. We own the night. Top down the night, you're not ready. We ride, we're about that. So high, we see the whole city. We own the night.
Oh, yes, we do, and we own the weekend, too. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the July 13th edition of the YSN Power Hour. DJ Yoakley with you, Billy McCartney, Richie Giuliano. We got Michael McKenzie down there, and the return of the Quinn Pushkar here in YSN headquarters. He that whole like wanting it, and having the I want East Palestine back, I want the trains, that lasted a whole 30 seconds. He walked through the door and he was over it. So welcome back, Quinn Pushkar. We've got a couple more guys that are on the way that we'll catch up to. I think Anthony Hartwig is going to pull double duty for us today as he sets up on the in the back room here in the studio, and also Tristan Reynolds will join us. Guys, what a weekend it was. A lot of things going on, but no news is bigger than this. Quinn Pushkar comes in the studio today and tells me not only does he go 50 for 50, he has all 50 states from the Mountain Dew Challenge, but he also has probably affected his kidneys in a permanent way, and he's swearing off Mountain Dew. Quinn, take us through your breaking news here. You've had enough Mountain Dew, and then you picked up a Hawaiian Punch like an hour later.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done with Mountain Dew. It's over. No more. Got green tea, and it's terrible.
It's delicious. You watch your mouth when you talk about green tea with honey like that. And I will tell you this, your kidneys will thank you later because they won't be completely so. Like, you have got to be on the border of kidney stones at this point. Like, it's coming.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It'd be interesting.
Are you nervous?
No, not the slightest. I'm done.
You're crazy. What made you finally say I'm done with Mountain Dew? You are the Mountain Dew guru. You're the guy that you did 50 out of 50 states complete. What made you say that enough is enough?
Kidney issues, I think. I could feel my kidneys now. That's,
if you taste them, it's a bad sign.
Yeah, and I got my 50. That's really all I care about. I'm done.
Are you ready to admit that you couldn't do the challenge we set up for you earlier about the 6 cases of Mountain Dew would be 10,000 calories? Are you ready to admit that you couldn't do it?
No, I could do that. I just have a lot of pain, and I'm not going to.
You would die. You would die. That's how it goes. But we will get to some sports. Oh, what do we got here? First things first, Quinn's scooter bill. That is a good question. What did the scooter bill total at the end?
Let me look it up. Hold on.
Is it like an app they have?
It's a lot. I'll admit that.
He doubled over like a day and a half. Like, he was at $60, and then all of a sudden he was at like a $1.25.
1, 2, 3.
Also, Robert Switka saying it's the biggest bluff of all time. You and Mountain Dew.
Yeah, whatever. Don't listen to Robert.
We listen to him all the time.
Roberto doesn't know what he's talking about.
He's a great fan of the show. And that's how we roll. Does anybody have any questions for Quinn before we roll on to our next topic, which is still about food, naturally?
Scooter bill is at a total of $178.91.
You could have bought a damn scooter.
No, they're like $2,500. They're expensive scooters.
like you could have bought a razor and scooted around Indianapolis, no problem.
No, because they're mechanical and it's no.
Oh, so you're like the ultimate of laziness. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, if I was going to have to actually ride a scooter like a normal kid in the parking on like a sidewalk or whatever, I would have just walked.
Wow. All right, so let's go this route. It is National French Fry Day, okay? And we all know that food and sports goes hand in hand. What is your favorite French fry setup if you can pick it out of absolutely anything in the world? Billy, we'll go with you because I think you and I are on the same page here.
Yeah, I'm a vinegar and salt guy all day.
So just plain vinegar and salt. I'm with you.
Heavy on the salt.
Heavy on the salt. Okay, the sodium's up. Richie, what about you?
You know, first off, I think it's funny that you mentioned National Fry Day because yesterday Red was craving about it in the box that it was National Fry Day today. I think it was like pecan pie day yesterday, and he said it on air. Everybody was freaking out, but my setup would definitely be just ketchup and mustard. Plain
Mustard
and simple.
on French fries?
Of course.
Caca.
Have to do it.
Caca. Mike, what are you thinking?
All right, I don't know if you guys have ever been to this place. It's Basil's in Weirton. I don't think any of you.
Where's Weirton?
No, Weirton, West Virginia.
Nah.
So they put some sort of seasoning on their fries before they bring them out. It is absolutely delicious. So they bring those fries out. I'll sprinkle a little salt on them. No ketchup, no mustard, no anything. They're probably the best fries I've ever had.
So he's a dry rub guy.
Like a Cajun season?
Oh, that's like crab fries at like PNC
Yeah, it's like
Park.
old.
Oh
Bay-
yeah, crab fries. They're really good.
Yeah,
And
crab
it's
fries
not the
is
same
great.
seasoning, but yeah, seasoning on it before they come out. That's why I like it.
I can go with dry rub guy. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's a different game though. But there's no rules in this game. So Michael, way to change the game we're playing. Quinn, what about you?
With Billy, salt and vinegar, 100%.
Salt and no. Do you add any ketchup to that? Is
No.
it salt and vinegar and then dip it in ketchup?
No.
Sometimes that could be a game changer too.
No.
Of course not, because you can't taste anything anyway. So
Yeah, Poorhouse has some good fries too. The barbecue fries, if you've never had, they're pretty good.
oh yeah, real good. Nice plug for Poorhouse. You can send the check to Billy Mack's Baseball Academy. Guys, now to get on to the day's work here. We've had the conversation. We've heard the conversation. Right now on YSN, the question of the day is, would you want to see fall and spring sports swap in 2021? We're getting a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But the question is, if there is no football, okay, and we understand there's more sports. We're not trying to isolate them and not show them any love. But if there is no football, what sport do you think should replace it? Because Title IX goes both ways. If you have volleyball, that's an all-girls sport. You need an all-boys sport because you have naturally tennis and golf that are both boys and girls sports. What are your thoughts on the game or sport that should replace football if, and that's a big if, there is no football this fall? Billy, start with you.
I'm gonna actually go something crazy. I just thought about in my head the last 30 seconds.
Okay.
Something new to college too. Esports. Let's bring esports to high school.
I like that.
You know, they got
I do like
scholarships
that.
out there. Wisconsin started on that bus where now kids are getting scholarships for video games. Bring esports on. Let's go. You can't argue about the social distancing. There's no contact in it. Let's bring it. Let's bring it to turn the century over. Here we go.
That is a great point. Esports. Would you guys be on with esports?
I definitely
Absolutely.
would. I mean, these kids
Some of
play.
these guys are making
all the time.
millions of dollars now too.
Yeah, their sponsorships are
crazy.
pretty stacked up, right? So I think we as YSN would get behind esports because you're already streaming. We just make you a page or connect you to the page that you're already connected to. So let's say East Palestine or Latonia or a Cardinal Mooney. Boom, there you go. You can go watch your players play, and at the same time, you can direct. What is it? I'm not familiar with it, but you can jump back on and you can actually get paid, like by people that are subscribing to your channel and people that want to donate to you. So it's a win-win. I'm with you. I didn't really think of this one, even though we talked about it the other day. Esports would be really interesting to bring into the fold, and it wouldn't be hard to do. There's not a whole lot of setup with it.
Nope.
So very interesting. Richie, what's your thought? What do you want to, or what would you replace football with?
I honestly think the easiest transition would be golf because the golf kids are all playing over the summer. Best time to play. They're already in season pretty much already, so they could easily replace football in the fall, as long as you started early enough.
So you would say all boys golf, like
Boys and
literally
girls.
the way golf was created was gentlemen only, ladies forbidden. So you would say ladies are out of golf and make tennis the co-op sport.
I think you could play women and men golf. I don't think it
Well,
really
see, now
matters.
Title IX, you have to have for every one sport you have for girls and boys, you have to have one for the other. So if you have two sports, tennis and what's the other one? Oh, golf. If you have two sports that are co-op, then you have to have one sport that is completely opposite for the boys, and that's kind of the conversation here. So
Okay, yeah,
if
that
you
makes it
had
tough.
one, yeah, it is tough. But if you had one to choose from, if there's one out there even, what would you do and why?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, what about volleyball? Volleyball's only women. Not many high schools around here.
Well, you can
volleyball.
create another team, and that's been talked about too. You make a boys volleyball team.
Yeah, I like that. I think you can make a boys volleyball team out of it.
All right, Richie wants volleyball. Thoughts on boys volleyball? Do you think it's something that people would embrace around here?
I think so.
I think so too. Well, Quinn sneezing at it, so. Quinn, do you think people would embrace boys volleyball?
Sure, why not?
Dynamite drop in, Monty. Again. Comes back from Indianapolis, learns no new vocabulary, quits Mountain Dew, but his dynamite drop ins are still good. Billy, I mean, is that if you're a 14-year-old boy who is out his sport, let's say you were looking forward to playing football, would you trade in your shoulder pads for a volleyball and get to work?
No, I think I would move on to my next sport, whatever it is. So if I'm a basketball player, I'm probably going to basketball practice during the fall. And if I'm a baseball guy, I'm going to find training. I'm going to camps. I'm going to do something. I wouldn't mess around with trying a new sport out that I've never done before.
Interesting. Mike, what's your thoughts?
I think that what works perfectly with Title IX that doesn't try to take the risk of boys volleyball and trying to get a roster with still something that just the thought that you still might not be able to get a roster. Just completely switch spring and fall, completely even move volleyball, golf, and tennis into the spring, and then move baseball, softball, track and field, all those spring sports into the fall, because all of them, if I'm not mistaken, none of them are classified as contact, are they?
Don't think so.
Volleyball is
So they would all work perfect.
Yep.
So you move football, volleyball, tennis, and golf to the spring when there's probably a 99% chance we're going to be rid of this
Golf would be
coronavirus
really, really hard. Golf
COVID
would be
thing.
really
Yes.
hard weather-wise.
Yeah, you're right. You are going to have to rely on weather a little more. You're going to have to worry about weather a little more.
Now, the
in golf,
OHSAA, Michael, has come out and said that they are not going to flip it. That their intention is not to flip to the spring because there's so many headaches that it presents. It also presents a little bit of a selfish move because spring just got chopped. So if we're going to chop another sport, why are we moving these guys back to get chopped and not giving them the opportunity? I'm okay if you flip spring back to fall just to have activity, but you also are going to have it in the spring as well. So you're almost getting a double dose of spring sports because you didn't have a dose in 2020. Would that be fair? Is that more fair and more realistic for these schools to do, even if their players are going to be competing in more than one sport in one season?
I think that it possibly could be fair to have the double dose of spring sports, as you said. I mean, this spring season got axed, so it maybe isn't the most rational option, but the OHSAA, I believe they have said that non-contact sports should be cleared to go for fall. Football is probably going to, and volleyball are probably going to be, well, no, never mind. They made volleyball non-contact sport, but football, it's a contact sport, so it's probably going to get axed if they take a step back from the reopening Ohio and allowing more things with the spike in cases. I think that with all the spring sports being classified as non-contact, that would be the easier option, and the double dose, even if it's not the most rational option, could be a fair option with the axing of the spring sports back on March 14th.
Quinn, here's a question I have for you. You guys get to play AAU, which I'm happy for you, really excited for you. They have the basketball tournament down in Columbus, which generated revenue for the state. When you look at this, tell me the difference between basketball contact and football contact.
You're not spearing people in basketball. That's about the only thing I could think of, honestly. I mean,
But is that really what we're worried about? You know,
No.
the contact is what we're worried about, the droplets, and we'll bring it up. Actually, I'll show you right now. Where is it? The brand. Then we'll go check this out, guys. What do you think about this? Can you see it on your screen right now? Now take a look at the helmet, and then take a look at the bottom of the visor, right below it.
The mouth guard.
It is a mouth guard that Oakley is designing for the NFL, and this is obviously courtesy of ESPN.com, the NFL. Oakley's designing this so that it's a spit guard, so that players don't necessarily get as many germs on each other as they typically do. Is that something that you can get behind? And if that's what it takes to play football, let's go.
It's going to be living hell to put on. Speaking from being in the equipment room at YSU, doing football stuff, putting on visors, that's going to be miserable to put on. But if you have to do it, you have to do it.
What do you mean it's going to be? How do you figure?
Like,
Let's put this up again. Go ahead and talk.
Basically, so looking at it, your clips are going to be there in that middle part that holds your actual visor. Putting on that spit guard thing, you have to find a way to attach it to the face mask on the bottom in multiple ways. That way, if it does break or whatever, it won't shard and basically impale you.
That's a good point. I just figured it would be something they could attach to the mouth guard, the mouthpiece, if players wear mouthpieces. You know what I mean?
You're still in the basically in the scare or whatever of it breaking, and then plastic or whatever fake plastic, whatever they used or whatever, is going to become an impalement basically if it breaks.
Do you think that the world/Ohio is going to go crazy if, and in some cases, when the other shoe drops and they say no football? Do you think people are going to go nuts? Yes. Yes, 1. Yes, 2. Yes, 3. Yes, 4. I'm with you. I think people are not really starting to add up what we're seeing on the outskirts. And as much as I want football, and I do want football because it's going to be a big year for us, it's going to be a big year in the Valley, you look at everything that's happening around us, and I think you start looking at the projections, and you start looking at the way things are happening and the way the dominoes are falling, and I don't think people have really grasped it yet, even though we had to cancel an entire season of sports in the spring. I think people still have not looked at it and said, well, this is a possibility. You know, I think they're just assuming that football is going to go on because it's football.
Even if we do play, you should plan on never attending a game. You're not going to be allowed to attend the game.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that.
And if you are, I mean, it's going to be maybe parents, that kind of situation, maybe 100, 200 people in.
And if you looked at the way that they started testing, who's going to be able to afford the testing once a week, twice a week, really? Because you have to be tested before a game and after a game. And then you qualify for and everybody needs to be tested, the trainer, the coaches, the players. I got to believe that, you know, if they're going to let parents in, if they're going to let fans in, the fans have to be tested. So you're looking at 2 tests a week in order to get in. So it's very interesting to me that they're looking to do this. Now, fans, how they do it in Class B is you do self-checks, right? So you take your temperature, and you're either good or, oh, my gosh.
I'm allergic to this green tea garbage. It's too healthy for me.
Yeah, that's got to be it. You drink 50 Mountain Dews, and now you're allergic to green tea. Now, I'm sure that's the way it is. Now you got me off my rocker here. So when you're looking at this, do you think people actually take their temperature prior to going to games, or do you think that they're just saying, I'm good? You know, I feel good. That's it. You know, little one of these guys, and I'm good.
100%. I don't think anybody's checking their temperature at all. I mean, as long as they don't have any symptoms, then they're coming to the game. I mean, it's just plain and simple.
Have you seen the dumpster fire meme floating down the street? That's how life will be. I think there's some validity to that. He corrected his meme thing at the end. So I appreciate that. And I appreciate going the extra mile with 2 comments on that. Do you feel that 2020 has just been the craziest year in sports history, given the situation we're in, not just local, but regional and national?
Definitely. I mean, you have the potential that the MLB, right now they're going to play, but if something crazy does happen, they could cancel that season. And then NFL is kind of, battling back and forth whether they want to play or not, and if there's going to be fans. So they could literally axe 2 professional seasons in 1 year, which has never been done. So, yes, it's crazy.
Here's Jeff the Man 6979 saying, I just talked to a parent from Struthers, and she said that they get 4 tickets for band and football players. So back to the original of what the OHSAA did when basketball was shutting down, you get 4 tickets. This is
I'm a
going
little surprised the band would be on the field. I'm a little surprised on that.
I'm interested to see, because my wife brought this up to me. I didn't even think about the band, to be honest with you.
Me either.
But
I'm just
how do
looking at the
they?
sports
They've got to practice. They've got to, and they're close. How do you separate 6 feet from in these different formations? I guess is what you'd call them. Are we going to see? Are we going to say? You look at Ohio State. Are we going to see the Ohio State marching band, which half of the stadium comes to see, if not more? It becomes crazy when you start thinking about all the pieces that we haven't even thought of that make up a football game. So if you're only getting 4 tickets and you're a parent, and you have, let's say you have Phillip Rivers like family, and you got 17 kids in your family, it becomes the Hunger Games for tickets to the Friday night football game. How do you do that? And are those negotiable from a standpoint? If you only have 2 people, if it's mom and dad going and nobody else, can you give your tickets to somebody else? There's a lot of things that can be juggled here, as we've seen in the last few years. So your thoughts on are you okay with parents and family getting 4 tickets?
Yeah, I think the parents should definitely get tickets to come to see their kid play, but I don't know. It's going to be tough for friends, because then they're going to have to battle over the 4 tickets that they get too, and it's going to be like a brawl outside the stadium for who gets to come in or not.
Is this the age where we see scalp tickets in high school football?
No.
I mean, anything's possible this year. Michael, I mean, thoughts for you? I mean, your dad's a coach, and naturally you're part of the media with us, but would you get tickets?
I don't know how it's going to work. I would say that I would get a ticket per se, but I'd probably have to either give it back to I don't know what you're going to call the boosters, whoever's going to take those extra tickets, or am I going to give it to my grandma who's trying to come to every game, or going to give it to my great aunt who tries to get into every game, which they're probably going to have troubles with the limited 4 tickets per coach, per player, per band member, which I think that's still going to add a lot of people in the stands, way more than 50% capacity, because the only people that aren't there, that aren't relatives, family members, and stuff like that, are maybe a few people that want to see their former high school player in the student section. There's still going to be more than 50% people there if it's 4 tickets per family. I don't know what's going to happen with me specifically, but in terms of 4 tickets per coach, player, and band member, it's going to be very hectic. It's going to be a lot more people in the stands than those people at Struthers or people that say 4 tickets per family are going to realize. It's going to be way more than 50% capacity, which is right now best case scenario.
I'm with you, man.
They
I think
just
it's
need
going
to
to be
let OSHA needs to let everybody live stream their stuff using YSN. And then
I was going to say, not everybody. Let us do the live
That's what I'm
streaming.
saying.
We've got more than enough people to accommodate that. We might have to have Quinn go. Look at him. He's still drinking that tea. He hates it, but he's drinking it.
Quinn's going to call his first game.
His first game that he did with me didn't go so well. It was real bad. It was really bad.
That makes 2 of us. Mine didn't go good either.
Yours was under different circumstance. So we'll get to that story in just a little bit. We're going to take a break. We're going to reset, and we're going to talk about a lot of things. We're going to talk about Class B standings. The updated standings are out. The last week and a half or so of the league is on the line. We're going to update you after this. We're also going to talk about Washington retiring their nickname and their logo. How does this affect us? We'll find out. Also, A-Rod, J-Lo looking to purchase the Mets. What franchise would you purchase if you had the opportunity, and why? We're also going to talk about the AAU tournament with Quinn, see how it went, and of course our G. Burbick Farms, What's Your Beef? All that coming up and more right here on the YSN Power Hour.
Baird Brothers remains your source for fine hardwood products. For the time being, we're open for customer pickup only on weekdays, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., and Saturday from 9 a.m. till noon. Place your order online at bairdbrothers.com. Baird Brothers, for the place you love.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
The 4M Company, being an architect and construction manager for over 40 years, has had the opportunity to use many different electrical businesses for our projects. The depth, quality, and knowledge and attention to detail displayed by Dickey Electric makes them stand out above all the rest.
For state-of-the-art expertise and a timeless commitment to our customers, contact Joe Dickey Electric. We are everything electrical.
And welcome back to the YSN Power Hour. DJ Yoakley with you. And look at Quinn. He's moving on into the studio, into the captain's chair. Oh, look at you. There you go. Get Michael in there. Make sure you get G. Burbick Farms. Get our sponsors in there. Anthony Hartwig going to be joining us in just a moment. Also, Tristan Reynolds on the hook. But before we go any further, I want to make sure I tell you about the South Range Athletic Boosters 31st Annual Raider Golf Outing coming up Friday, July 31st. You can register, do all that at RaiderGolf.com. It's proudly presented by Nightline. It's going to be at Flying Bee Golf Course. You can meet some of the YSN talent out there, as well as some of the great Raider family out at South Range. Again, that's the Raider Golf Classic, Friday, July 31st, 2020. Head over to RaiderGolf.com for all the details on that. Billy Mack, your favorite time of the program. It is time to update our fans and our wonderful fans on the Class B standings. Let's start with the 14U, where the Astro Falcons are 11-0 with 1 tie. Then you have Whiting at 9-2 with 1 tie. Prospects 8-4. 8-5 for Creekside. Roth Brothers at 6-4-2. Ballistic 4-6-3 on the year. A to Z 3-5 with 2 draws. You also have Avalanche at 3-8. CSA 2-9-2, and Eagle are rounding out the bunch at 1-12-1. Quickly, we are going to go to obviously our resident expert, and obviously as there's Anthony. He joins us.
That's the 14, right? That's the 14.
That's the 14s. Yep. So, Billy, talk to me about the 14s. I mean, you see these kids going. The Astros have really taken all the different divisions by storm. What do you see from the 14s, and what are some of the names that you've seen over the past couple weeks?
I haven't really got a chance to watch too many of them. I know they have a pretty good pitching staff. Names are a little foggy for me, but I'm a little bit more involved with the 16s and the 18s. But the 14s, they go out there and they play good baseball. They throw strikes, and at that level of 14U, if you don't throw strikes, you're in trouble.
Yeah,
and that's every single pitcher that goes out there for the Astros. They go out there and throw strikes. Now I haven't gotten a chance to watch a whole bunch of anybody else. Obviously, I'm an Astros guy, but I know what those guys do, and I worked with them a little bit in the winter. They go out there, they throw strikes, they don't walk guys. You're not going to get free bases, so you're going to have to beat them.
Richie, talk to me. You've seen the 14Us a couple times. Who stood out to you?
I liked Jake Schneider. He's a tall, lengthy kid, plays first base. I think he does a great job. But I also wanted to mention Whiting. They have a great team as well, and they're a new team. They're a new franchise, and I like their program from the 14U all the way up to the 18-year-old division. We mentioned, I think, a few weeks ago that most of their 16U kids play at the 18-year-old level as well, and they compete at both divisions. So they have a great organization brewing down there for Whiting.
Mike, you've had a chance to glance at the 14s. Anybody stand out to you, team-wise or from a player perspective?
I haven't gotten a great look at some of these teams. I think I saw Creekside play both CSA and the Avalanche, if I'm not mistaken. But they took both of those games pretty well. They sit in the middle of the standings, just like you said, DJ. I'm surprised they're not in the top 4 currently, or at least in the top 3. If they are number 4, I'm pretty sure they're sitting at number 5. But Creekside is a team that I saw, they're sitting at 4 at 8-5. But I feel like Creekside, from what I saw against CSA and Avalanche, probably should be at a 9-4 record. I really like what Creekside's been able to do with a 14-year-old division upwards. I've also liked to see what Creekside's been doing. Not as much maybe at the 14-year-old division. Those were the only 2 14U games I was able to watch, but I was pretty impressed with what Creekside was able to do at the younger level.
All right, let's take a look at the 16s now. The Astros on top 13-1 with 1 draw under the tutelage of Stephen J. Leslie, the general manager here at YSN. You also have Nightline, who's creeping. Just lost the Astros, what was it, yesterday, I believe, 10-4 on the season. So they are trailing the Astros, but still kind of in that driver's seat for that second card bye, if you will. Edge, though, right behind him at 9-4-1. Prospect 6-6 with 2 draws on the year. Whiting 6-7 overall, 2 draws. Eagleware 5-7 with 2 ties. Avalanche 5-8-1. Ballistic 4-8-2. Creekside 4-10-0. And then you have Roth Brothers, who are 3-10-1. So if the season were to end right now, guys, the Astros, Nightline, Edge, Prospects, Whiting, and Eagleware are all in. Do you see a team like Avalanche or Ballistic able to make a run at this as we head towards the home stretch here?
Personally, from what I've seen, I think what you mentioned, the top 6 are going to hold on. I think Eagleware has a pretty good pitching staff. They're experienced. They have a lot of kids that just graduated, or not just graduated, that played at the 14-year-old level, and they've grown up in that system. So they've been there for 2 years. So I like Eagleware at the 6th spot. I think they're going to hold on.
Billy, you said you've seen the 16s. What impresses you most about this group?
Well, first thing, I think it's a 3-team race, really. I think they separate themselves pretty well, the top 3 teams, Edge and Nightline and Astros, and everybody else is kind of figuring it out, trying to sneak in there. So, but they just have the depth. I mean, when it comes to the playoffs, you're going to play series. And if you don't have pitching, and it's not even about having a guy, because you can have a guy in the playoffs. You're still going to lose the series. If you don't have 2, 3, 4, 5 guys that you can throw out there, you're going to lose. So if you don't have depth on the pitching mound, you're in trouble.
One of the questions that I'm sure you get a lot is, if you've got an ace, are you pitching him the first round? Are you going to let him kind of move to the next? But if you're pitching a series,
there's an old saying: you never want to lose with a bullet in the gun. All right. So if you have that bullet and you don't use it and lose it, then you got some explaining to do.
Lucy, you got some explaining to do. All right, let's move on to the 18Us, where, Billy, you're most comfortable and you're most a part of. The Astros 13-1 on the season, only 1 loss in your craw. Then you have Creekside, who usually it's always comes down to Astros and Creekside in the end, and there we see it reflected right away. But here's the team that I think has raised the most eyebrows. Roth Brothers at 9-6 have really stormed the castle a little bit and are sitting pretty at 3rd place. Whiting is 9-7. Then you have Eagleware at 7-7. The Prospects still sitting on that playoff spot at 7-8, where Edge at 6-8-1 could be knocking on the door. Nightline at 5-9. You never want to count out Juice and his players. Ballistic at 4-12, and the Avalanche at 3-12. If you're looking at this list of teams right now, who is the team that you don't want to play if you're the Astros, Billy? I got him.
I mean, we're gonna march out our guys and see what happens. I mean, you're not gonna trick me up.
I almost got him.
We'll be ready for whoever wants, and everybody wants to play us. I mean, they want to come at us. I mean, we're the defending champs, and you have that bullseye when you're the defending champs.
Richie, anybody not named Astros or Creekside, who's impressed you the most?
Not named Astros and Creekside. I think Roth Brothers, honestly. I said that they would come back out of the cellar, and they did. They started off 1-3, but they went on that 5-game winning streak in the middle of the season where they were just lights out. So I think them in the 3 spot, they've impressed me the most outside of course, the Astro Falcons and Creekside.
Quinn, I know you don't care, and have probably never seen a Class B game outside of the 2 that I made you go to and
crazy
for.
It's from 3 to 7. It could interchange like that.
Yeah, everything's so close in the division.
They're still right there in it. So you could go from, Roth Brothers is hot still. We've seen in past where all of a sudden they go from a 4 seed to a 7 seed. and then that 7 seed comes up to a 4. Like that whole area, that middle of our division there, it's crazy. And there's still plenty of games that are left to be played.
Now, how does this make you feel? This comment by Rob Switka below: the Astros are the Ohio State of the Big Ten.
Listen, when Switka talks, I rarely listen. All right, he's my boy and all, but I rarely listen when he talks.
Interestingly
he just
enough,
listen. What team is Switka rooting for today? Are they winning? Probably. So that's where he's at.
I think he's just jealous he never got to play for the Astros.
He is.
I think that's
Super
what it comes down to.
Oh, it's interestingly enough, guy. I don't know if you can see this on our Facebook page, but we have some people going back and forth. I think we're being trolled, but I don't know. So we're not going to put them up. So tough luck for you. Somebody talking about reliable sources, interestingly enough.
That's my entire AAU team that I was just with for.
Oh, we're being trolled by your AAU team.
Yeah.
Way to be a leader.
You girls, they're coming in there.
That's interesting. The whole reliable sources thing coming through. Tell Quinn to cheer up. He looks a little upset. He is a little upset. He's going to lose both. I mean, you have 2 kidneys, right? You're going to lose them both.
I have them both, and I'm surviving. We're thriving over here.
They're toast. They're gone.
Not
Mountain
yet.
Dew owns you.
Not yet. They're still there.
We're getting more people to say we need Quinn to talk.
I don't talk about baseball. I don't have a damn clue about it.
Well, we could talk about basketball, but we've got the same answers for that one, I think.
Except
but that brings us to our one of our next topics, AAU tourney.
Great.
How did it go, Quinn? Should we poll your players? You want to talk about this one?
You can poll them. You can do whatever you want to them. I'm sure they'll comment on it. It was a good tournament for us. It really was. Being able to take the girls out to a place that was not around here is always good. We competed the entire week, and we played well. Courtney, as you can tell, is all about basketball. She played well as well. We had a full team of girls that actually just enjoyed playing, and it was a really fun time.
Emily saying she'll be a guest, and we also have talk about your last game. All right, Quinn.
All right, yeah. So the last game we had 5 girls. We had Courtney was one of them. Emily was one of them. We had Zara Cunningham from Wyndham. Kylie Wilson from Jackson Milton played, and Gia from Hubbard. I can't pronounce her last name, so I'm not going to even try to butcher it. But they
Good effort.
We had 5 to play a full game, and it was, to say the least, it was very fun. We ended up winning it probably by, I can't remember the exact number, 10 or 12 or something like that. But it was a really, really fun time.
Kylie saying, "Don't touch my foot." Not sure what that is in reference to, but
yeah,
you're smiling, so there's got to be something there.
Yeah, Emily's feet are interesting. They're interesting. We'll just leave it at that. But she had me tape her ankles and all that.
I don't think we can leave it at that. I don't think you want to leave it at that.
Yes, we can.
All right. Well, let's take a look into our next segment, which is the one when we talk about guys. As Tristan joins the conversation here, welcome T.
What up?
Washington retiring the nickname and logo. Now, obviously, it's the Redskins. This has been all over the news on the national level. What I want to get from you guys is it the right thing to do? And if you were in charge of what they should be called and what what the logo would be, what would it be and why? And this is one that I want to start with Michael, just because I know he's got some good ideas on this. So, Mike, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are, why the hell is it happening now? This name has been around for 97 years, and it's got 3 Super Bowls to its credit, and suddenly in 2020, it's when it needs to be changed. I don't know where this outcry was at in 2009, 2010, these years, 10 years ago. Where was the outcry then? I don't know why it should be changed now, and I have no clue what the Native Americans and people that are so-called offended by this name think. I have no way of knowing that because I know nobody that is a Native American. But if they're offended, change it. If they're not, then leave it alone. I don't know what they think. but the outcry from people that I've seen that weren't Native Americans were at the forefront of this, change the name. But if it's offensive, okay, let's change it. And I think that it should not be the Washington Warriors because, one, that the Golden State Warriors is fine. Two, it's just like it's a boring, bland name in my opinion. I think it should be like some sort of cool name. I know that sounds really stupid, but something that's non-offensive. Something, I don't know if this is offensive or not, but the Washington Red Tails sounds like something that would work. Or,
Yeah, those were actually pilots back in the day. It was all African American group that did that. And I'm behind that. I like that, but I think that's.
I don't think it would be racist to have a name honoring African American pilots from back in the day, but who knows what's what now.
And that's the question. Is it going to offend anybody? And that's you look at this, guys. Is it animal or bust at this point? Like, do you have to have an animal or you're going to offend somebody? And is PETA going to be out there whenever somebody gets nicknamed as an animal now? I mean, Richie, you've got some great takes on this. What are your thoughts?
Well, first, it scares me because looking at the Indian situation right now that the Redskins have to change their name, I think there's a lot of pressure put on the Indians if, in fact, that they do change their name. And I also think the Washington Monuments would not be a bad name for the Redskins replacement. I mean, that's what Washington's known for. I don't think it offends anybody. It's not targeting a specific group, so I like that name.
The Braves came out and said they're not changing their name, right?
Yeah, they said they're going to look at the chop, but no name.
Yeah.
Why? Like the
they
chop?
Said that, I think I said that. I read that they were looking at the tomahawk chop. I don't think anything's going to happen to it, but they said they were looking.
You're not going to control what fans are doing in the stadium.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, that doesn't matter.
But a lot of times it's started from the guy that gets to pull the trigger.
Guy.
The PA guy. He gets to hit the button that says tomahawk chop, and everybody does this.
Yeah.
I don't see where that's if it's okay for Florida State to do, and it's okay for Kansas City to do. Why is it not okay for Atlanta to do? That's what I don't like, this pick your poison thing where it's okay here, but it's not okay here.
I think this is politics in sports now. I think they're talking about it like, hey, we're gonna go over and figure it out, so that way they're like, oh, they're figuring it out. We're good. We're just gonna leave them alone for now.
Ron Rogers chiming in, the Washington Quins. I don't think anybody wants that because they wouldn't do a whole lot, if anything, and they would just drink Mountain Dew in their Gatorade bottles and all have kidney failure. So I think that name's probably out. Tristan, chime in on this. I mean, you're an Indians fan. Washington is giving in, so to speak, to the pressure that's being put on them. What should Washington be, and what should their logo be?
I'm not a fan of all the name changes and all that stuff, but as we talked about it with the Indians, I think it's inevitable. I think unfortunately it is, because people are just going to say, instead of taking the back flag, we might as well just scrap it and change it. I've never really thought about a name or a mascot for them. I mean, I really don't care about Washington. I think they suck. So I really don't care what they go to. I kind of with what Michael said. I mean, I don't get it, but I mean, who the hell am I?
You're Tristan Damn Reynolds is who you are.
Damn straight. Okay, I can get on board with that. But I don't know, man. I mean, what are you going to call them? I mean, the Washington Monuments, isn't that big thing that just hangs out there in that park?
Yeah, that would be a monument.
So what the hell? Like, what are you just going to put that on the side of the helmets?
It would be the Washington Monument, which would be the giant
name,
pole.
But, like, you can't take that as like your, logo, right? I mean, that's kind of weird. I don't know.
Ron Rogers saying, boom, roasted. Quinn, what's your take, if you have one, on Washington?
Just like Tristan, I can care less. The Redskins stink.
We're shocked.
They stink. Who cares? They stink.
I'm shocked to get that reaction from you.
I can care less about the Indians changing their name, whatever.
What are you drinking right now?
I'm drinking that Moon Mist because it had less calories and sugar than the other one.
You're drinking generic Mountain Dew.
But it's not Dew and it has less sugar. It has significantly less sugar. It tastes terrible.
That's called off-brand Mountain Dew.
It's less than 45 minutes since you've sworn off Mountain Dew, and you're already back on it.
It's not Mountain Dew. It's Moon Mist, and it's terrible.
You watch your mouth.
Wait, what happened with the Mountain Dew? What's going on?
I'm done. I'm done with Mountain Dew. I got my station done.
Bullshit.
I'm done.
Wait,
I
why
won't
are you
drink
done?
my kidneys hurt.
Yeah, when you drink 30 a day.
Well, I'm done. None.
called moderation.
50
Never-
in 10 days. 50 in 10 days. He's averaging 5 a day. So it's I'm surprised he didn't say Washington do. That's actually not a bad one. I think people could get behind that. Quinn could if you were able to. This is still bothering me. You drank 50 Mountain Dews for $100, and you're only getting like $10 of that back because of the $90 you spent on Mountain Dew.
It's called accomplishment, DJ. I got all 50. That's accomplishment.
And you lost a kidney. So
Well, I have it still. I'm trying to recover it.
by drinking off-brand Mountain Dew.
Yep.
We're all incredibly proud of you. Guy, I mean, bottom line, I mean, to me, I don't see why they couldn't have just been the Redskin potatoes. You know what I mean? They could have just, all they had to do was change the logo. They could have been a potato, and this whole thing is squashed. Do you think that would have been good enough for the general public to make this decision? Because I'm kind of with Michael, and I don't get a vote in this because I'm not Native American. So at the end of the day, I just go, okay, whatever you're cool with, let's do it. If you're not cool with this, let's talk about it. But we don't get a vote. I just think it'd be cool to have your logo and your mascot be a potato, because there's a bunch of ways you can cut it up, right?
Literally.
They're not gonna make anybody happy. You keep it, you don't make people happy. You change it, you're not gonna make anyone happy. So it's a lose-lose.
Who's the next team? Who is the next team to follow in this row of dominoes? We've seen the Indians catch heat already. I feel like they're hiding in the shadows a little bit. They're hiding behind big dumpsters to make sure that nobody comes after them. Are there other teams at the professional level that you feel that people could come after?
Every one of them. You can
Like-
make a deal for any of them.
Well, like, what are you gonna do with the Lakers?
I'm sure you can make something up. People are just soft. That's all it is. People are soft. Who cares? Just let the Redskins be the Redskins.
If somebody
Lakers
replaced
take the
the moon mist in his hand with a Coors Light, like, you would swear Quentin is hammered drunk down in the bottom corner, just hanging out.
The Lakers' name is offensive to all pawns.
Yeah. There
That's
you
it.
That's the logic.
All right, let's have some fun with this. A-Rod and J-Lo are looking to purchase the Mets again. If you were in their place, you had unlimited money, what franchise would you purchase and why? It has to be professional. It could be any professional team in any professional sport. Let's start with Michael. Go ahead.
Pittsburgh Pirates, no doubt.
Okay.
Give one, because I'm a Pirates fan, but two, give relief to everybody because Bob Nutting is one of the worst owners I've ever seen. I know I'm only 16 years old, but Bob Nutting runs that team so poorly that it's unbelievable.
Would you be like the guy in what was that the one with the twins, the movie with the twins, where he gets to be the owner?
Oh,
of the
Little
Twins?
Big League.
Yeah, Little Big League.
Oh,
That would
that's the best.
be like Michael.
Oh, yeah.
What would
That's
be
the
your
best.
first move as owner, Michael?
First move as owner, if I got unlimited money, let my GM go out and get a big name free agent.
I thought he was going to say, I'm going to move the team. I thought he was going to pull the trigger on it.
No, I'm moving the team to East Palestine, Ohio.
Yeah, we finally got one. All right. Q, who's the team that, or the I guess, organization that you would purchase and why?
Steelers.
Oh, God. I know
Yep.
where this is going.
100% Steelers, and I'd run them into the ground.
Why? Because the Browns already got run into the ground.
Run them into the ground.
That would
Hey,
be
we're on the rise,
what would be your first move? I'm afraid to hear this.
Get rid of anybody who has talent on that team.
So the whole team.
Sell them to the Browns.
I'd let Roethlisberger stay. I like Roethlisberger. I like any 400-pound quarterback that can still sling it. So that's about it. But no, if I had to buy one to make moves and actually try it, I'd probably buy the Cavs. Legitimately.
And what would be your first move?
Get LeBron back.
With an angry Comic Sans letter.
Yeah. Send a letter to LeBron and get it back. Say, I'm sorry Gilbert screwed you up, and
Dear LeBron,
new ownership, we're
please
back.
come back.
Come back.
This is Quinn.
Yeah, of course.
Tristan, who would be the team or organization that you would purchase, and what would be your first move?
The Detroit Pistons, for a fact that I think this was a real thing back a couple years ago. They thought about selling the franchise, and like Pittsburgh was a location where it would have ended up. So I would buy Detroit, the Pistons, and I'd move them to Pittsburgh, so Pittsburgh had an NBA team. And I could finally just hop on and have a team in the NBA. Instead
You could probably buy the city of
Yeah,
Detroit before anything else. Richie, what are your thoughts? Who would you buy, why, and what would be your first move?
Well, I'm definitely buying my Indians. And first move would be I'm keeping the Indians name the same. Second move is I'm trying to negotiate a deal with Lindor. That's it, right there, right off the jump.
Billy?
So I actually did this last week in my pregame questions, and my kids asked me the same thing.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
going to answer differently, though, this time. Originally, I said Oakland, the A's, and I'd move them. Now I'm saying the Cowboys. Why wouldn't you buy the most prestigious franchise in any sport that we have?
Because they're stupid.
And then I would cut Dak.
If he's the owner. I mean, you don't buy the Knicks. The Knicks are just.
What about the
Right.
the Yankees? Nobody said the
Because they
Yankees.
have the Dolans in them.
Yeah.
You don't ever want to be the man who follows the man. I'm not, Steinbrenner. No one's ever going to be as good. So you never want to be the man.
I'm not KD.
No, you don't want to be the man that follows the man, but he's been gone for a while. So you want to be the guy that couldn't get it done. You follow that guy.
Yeah.
I can't buy him, man. I'd buy the Knicks. They need somebody new. Dolan's terrible. They all hate him.
Classic.
I can't buy him.
Quinn should have said the OKC Thunder moving back to Seattle.
Get the Knicks, get Michael Rappaport back, and we're good to go. Roll
That didn't go exactly the way I planned it. That kind of backfired on me, especially with the Steelers comment, Mr. Pushkar. So thank you for that.
Run them into the ground. I'm tired
Well
of
played.
I mean, I would buy the Browns and run them into the ground, but that's already happened.
They're already in the ground.
Oh, shots fired back.
See, all of you should just be happy about the Browns existing. It gives you 2 wins a year.
Are you already throwing the towel in for 2020?
No.
He's 2 years ahead. He's throwing in for 2022.
Are you one of those guys that thinks that this is going to be the Browns' year, Quinn?
It's always the Browns here in Cleveland. That's how it works.
It doesn't work.
That is kind of how it works.
And then they get blown out week 1.
Then they beat the Steelers.
Yep.
If Quinn had an action figure, do you think you'd have to have a Mountain Dew accessory that comes with it?
No, I'm all on
Definitely.
board now. Let's go. Moon Mist.
Quit knocking my Fago Moon Mist.
Fago.
Fago's awesome.
Fago until Tristan brought it in the other day.
See? That's how we roll here. That's how we roll. We are
Diverse.
we're an efficient group. We'll put it that way. We're an efficient group. We try to get the maximization for our money. So if you guys had to wipe one team completely off the planet, had to be you don't ever want to play this team again. You never want to see them. They're no longer a franchise. Who would that be and why?
I got to go with Tampa Bay Rays.
Really?
Yeah. I think they got to move out of St. Pete. I just don't think, they're getting the attendance that they should be. I mean, we all know St. Pete is home to the elderly, and at that point, most of them do not want to leave and go to a baseball game. So if they move them out of Tampa Bay, I would keep them there. But right now, you got to get the Tampa Bay Rays out of St. Pete.
Well, they were working on a deal to go to, was it Montreal? They were working on a
Yes.
deal to go up
They had
there.
to play half
Go
their
the
season.
It's like 2028. They're going to split half their season in Tampa and Montreal.
That's how bad it is, yeah.
Well, a couple years ago, they were giving free tickets away because no
Uh-huh.
one wanted to go.
Didn't the Pirates do that too? And nobody still came?
No.
No, they're
They do the
free.
$1 tickets, don't they?
Yeah, they would do $1. You will never get anything free other than a bobblehead and a fireworks show in Pittsburgh. I can promise you that. Nutting's wallet is well taken care of. So, Tristan, one team wipe off the face of the earth. Who is it?
Oh man, that's tough. I don't probably the Brooklyn Nets just because I just don't like them, and I think it's weird for basketball to have a Brooklyn team. I don't know. Just Brooklyn Nets, get the hell out and just try to fix the Knicks.
Billy, how about you?
The Cowboys, just because I'm done hearing about them on every network.
You just said you wanted to own them.
He wants to own them and wipe them off, literally wipe them off the face of the earth. So,
Okay, so you're
Right.
gonna own them in your first.
If I can't own them, then
Get
they're
the hell
out. That's not.
Michael, you?
I'm down to either the Green Bay Packers just because of the mere fact that I hate them, or the New York Knicks because I'm done seeing them suffer, and then move the Nets into New York, into Madison Square Garden. have the Nets replace the Knicks because they've been a much more successful franchise, and I'm done seeing Knicks fans just completely suffer at the hands of James Dolan every year.
Michael's got an entire
Get
blueprint.
rid of Dolan.
Is there Knicks fans at your age?
No,
there's
they don't.
not.
Those don't exist.
I was gonna
Who do you
everybody
follow
at
in
Knicks fans
basketball?
Is over 50.
Who do I follow in I don't really follow anybody specifically in basketball. I was a LeBron James follower until about 3 years ago when I realized I didn't want to be that kind of guy.
After he won his championship in
What's wrong with
Cleveland
being
and you
that
got to
kinda
follow.
guy? I'm that
No,
kinda
after he lost, and I think after he won his championship in Cleveland, I realized, all right, I'm done being LeBron follower.
Well, looky here. Michael Page saying the Ravens, just
I
a
like that
straight
one, yeah.
boo.
Yeah.
Hey, I would wipe off the Browns, but it's fun watching them suffer every year.
You see what you woke up the beast, Quinn. You woke up the beast.
TJ,
Hey,
he's 16. He doesn't.
Michael, don't come around if you get swept this year. Don't
Yeah,
come
I don't
around.
want to hear it.
I'm good.
Don't come around.
I'll
Should
put
go
on
the other
Joe
way
when he
around.
doesn't have
Where's Michael at? Nobody's seen him in weeks.
Well, yeah, we got the Brady bunch together, and there's
No.
no Mike McKenzie talking about the Steelers. Listen, we've got 3 Steelers fans here, and then we have the reverse kind of Tetris style for the Browns fans. So it'd be interesting, guys, if we were able to place a bet in, I don't know, July 13th about the upcoming season, if there's an upcoming season. If the Steelers win, we get something. If the Browns win, you get something. And if they draw, it's a push.
Yeah. I would love
guarantee-
that.
I don't think there's going to be a sweep on either side. I think they split
think
this
there
year.
is.
So here's
I think there is.
here's what I would put together. My offer is if the Browns win 2-0, these 3 will appear on a Power Hour wearing Browns jerseys. However, if you 3 lose, you will be the proud new rental owners of Steelers jerseys, which you will have to wear on the Power Hour.
I'll lend you my
Thoughts?
TJ Watt color rush jersey if you guys want.
I want the Bumblebees. Give me the Bumblebee jersey.
I've got a
I think
Bumblebee
my-
jersey.
Make
My
it
uncle had
look as
one, too.
worse as possible.
Oh no, you're gonna get
It'll
the
look
fresh.
great on you, Richie. It'll look great on you.
You're gonna look. Yeah,
Oh, it will.
yeah. You will.
Trust
you will
me,
look
when
like
Ben
a
goes,
prisoner.
if Ben's 23-2-1 against the Browns in his entire career, I'm safely making that bet.
I'm in on it. I'm stamping
in.
it for me. Are the Browns fans in on it? Quinn's saying no.
I'm
not.
good.
I'm not
in on
touching any of that ugly ass stuff.
it.
Yeah, because you know it. You already know your fate this
Michael,
season.
I wouldn't even wipe my ass with it.
You know your fate. You know your fate. I'm too
I'm good.
lucky.
I'll walk into Pittsburgh Stadium. I'll do whatever. I'm not touching any of that stuff. No.
You
wanna
walk
touch
to
my-
Pittsburgh Stadium?
Yeah,
I will
I
walk there. I am not
trust me.
Deal. Stop right there. So these 2 have to wear Steelers gear, and we have to, like, Quinn has to FaceTime in and walk to Heinz Field from East Palestine.
Deal.
That's got to be like a 24-hour walk.
That's going to take me a week.
He's just going to rent one of those scooters.
His scooter bill will be through the roof.
If their scooters were up here, I'd ride one every day. I'd ride one everywhere.
I just want to see you ride a Razor scooter. That's what we'll do. You have to ride a Razor scooter to Heinz Field, and you have to wear a Browns jersey.
Then I'll wear a Browns jersey every day of the week before whatever.
Ron Rogers saying Quinn has a hard time walking to the bathroom, let alone Pittsburgh. Well done.
He's
Very
not wrong.
well.
Oh wow.
No, he's not wrong. And that's if
not
anybody knows you, they know that you walk 30 feet and you're like limping for some reason. And today it was your kidneys.
failure.
It was interesting to say the
My
least.
body's just shutting down on me. That's all.
Oh, we don't want to hear that. G. Burley Farms, what's your beef? Guys, there's a lot to be upset about. There's a lot to hold grudges about right now. But talk to me about your beef, whether it happened last week, over the weekend, or today. T, you were the last one in, so you're the first one out. What's your beef?
My beef is make a decision on this. The sports coming up. You guys probably touched on it. Just make a decision. I was working a baseball tournament this weekend, and it was awesome just to see baseball. And like everyone you ask, it's like we just want to play. We want to do something, whether baseball's played in the fall or football's. You know what I mean? Just make a decision for us. I don't know if there has been a decision made. Just I'm tired of worrying about it. Tired of worrying. It's in the back of my head every freaking day. Just make a decision and let it roll.
Michael?
Okay, I got a couple beefs, but one was kind of the same as last Friday. Just make a decision on the season already. But you got a lot of people not deciding to wear the mask outside. Best case scenario, you're helping stop the spread of this virus, which has already cost us a spring sports season. Worst case scenario, you're wearing a piece of fabric on your face. So I don't know why people are at all against wearing a mask, because it's not really that much of a sacrifice. But that's my first beef. My second beef is the fact that the Browns legitimately think they're beating us in one game this season. I don't know how in the world anybody from a Cleveland standpoint, because I don't know how the hell you stick with that team for as long as you have. But I don't know how.
Loyalty.
It's called loyalty, Mike.
You'll learn it one day.
We don't follow LeBron James's coattail.
Oh, trust me. If I'm a Pirates fan, I think I understand a little bit of loyalty as well.
Coattails, LeBron's. He's followed everybody that's good. The only one he hasn't is the Pittsburgh Pirates, and that's because they stink.
They do. They do stink. I will give you that.
Quinn, what's your beef? Brought to you by G. Burberry Farms.
My beef is young fans coming at the Browns, giving us garbage for not understanding it. Now,
I think I understand the fact that the Steelers have 6 Super Bowls and the Browns have 0.
Oh, boy.
How many?
I understand the fact that the
You've been alive for
Steelers
one.
make the playoffs way more
You've
consistently than the
literally
Cleveland
been
Browns.
alive for one, and you're coming out with the other 5.
let's get this over with. Beef.
Come on,
I got a
Quinn.
couple. Beef. I just turned on this computer back here, so that's kind of scary. Don't know what's going on there. Beef and scooter rides. They cost too much. Don't like them. Want more though.
I mean, you willingly bought all of the scooter rides.
The other beef is that all the girls that were watching it today from my team neglected to comment on their obsession with Eric Bailey's calves. They all think that they're very nice calves, and it's weird because he thinks it's weird, and it's funny. It's very funny. It makes an awkward situation. But anyway, the scooter rides.
Awkward as shit just listening to that.
Was it? Yeah, I felt a little awkward because first off, I didn't know because we're in Columbiana County if you were talking about his calves attached to his legs or the calves that walk around a barn in like baby cows. I
figured it out myself, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so interestingly enough,
scooter rides too expensive.
Richie,
I think my beef will be that the Redskins are changing their name, and I think the Indians will follow. So I think that's my beef.
Billy.
Ties in baseball.
Good one.
Beef.
Oh wow, okay.
Good one.
We had
Why?
a tie over the weekend, and it drove me nuts. It was just dumb. Play the game. Quit having these time limits, especially in a tournament style. No ties. Keep going.
Do ties make you think about kind of winning the game more than losses sometimes? Like what you left on the field?
Yeah, ties. Yeah, more than losses. For at least for me, you know.
That's interesting
We
enough.
just have losing opportunities to just win the game instead of like it's more of a negative light when you lose. You're like, this is why we lost the game. The other side of it's like, here's why we didn't win the game.
Yeah.
Which is basically the same thing.
My G. Burbick Farm, what's my beef is at some point somebody's got to tell me what the difference is between all this contact, whether it's one sport to the next. Basketball is allowed to play, golf's allowed to play, volleyball is allowed to play, and tennis is allowed to play, but there's just as much contact, if not more, in basketball as there is football, just not the same force of contact. So if somebody could figure that out and tell me, I'd be happy to be able to write this up and to decompartmentalize or compartmentalize, like, depending on which way you look at it, this situation. So I'm still completely lost about all this stuff, what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. So if somebody could figure that out, then I wouldn't really have beef about it. So that is going to do it for the Power Hour. Guys, thank you for joining. Tomorrow, 3 to 4, the YSN Power Hour. Tonight, Richie, you and Tommy will have the call from Scene 1. Good luck with that. Make sure you check in during Facebook Lives, and also you can go to ysnlive.com and get all the up-to-date scores and stories right there on our website. Guys, thanks for being a part. Thanks for watching. That's going to do it for today. So long, everybody.
Hey, my Ohio friends, it's Mike Ditka, and I know great talent and heart when I see it. I can tell you from firsthand experience, there are average real estate agents, then there are true champions. Kelly Warren is one of those champions, and you have her right there in your own backyard. Kelly outmarkets and outsells every agent in the Mahoning Valley. If Kelly can't sell your home at a price and deadline you agree to, Kelly will buy it. Get your home sold. Call Kelly Warren today at 717-2689 or go online to kellysoda.com and start packing.